In this video, we'll be discussing applications of exponential functions. If 1,000 milligrams of carbon-14 are present in a living body, then how many milligrams of carbon-14 are present after 5,700 years? We want to use the equation A equals A sub 0 times e to the negative 0.000124 t power, where A sub 0 is the amount of carbon at the time of death, which would be when time t is equal to 0, and A is the amount of carbon after t years. We'll round our answer to the nearest hundredth. So they've given us the equation to use. And we want to find how many milligrams of carbon-14 are present after 5,700 years. So we just need to find A sub 0 and t, plug it into our formula, and type it into our calculator. So they said find the amount of carbon after 5,700 years, so that'll be our t. And we're also told that there are 1,000 milligrams of carbon present in a living body, so that's our A sub 0, the amount of carbon we're starting with. And we'll plug these numbers into our formula to get our answer. So A will be equal to 1,000 times e to the negative 0.000124 times 5,700 power. And we just type this into our calculator. You're going to be using your e to the x button, so make sure that the product and the exponent is in parentheses when typing it in. We want to round our answer to the nearest hundredth. We get 493.22 milligrams. Our next example is about calculating compound interest. If a principal P is invested at an annual rate R, compounded n times a year, then the amount A in the account at the end of t years is given by the equation A equals P times the quantity 1 plus R divided by n raised to the n times t power. Again, we're given the formula. We're going to get information from our word problem, plug it into our formula, type it into our calculator. So if $5,000 is deposited in an account paying 6% compounded annually, how much will you have in the account in 4 years? We'll round our answer to the nearest cent. Well, the first thing they gave us is $5,000. This is the amount deposited, so this is our principal. The next piece of information they gave us is that the account would be paying 6% interest. That gives us our R. Be sure to write it as a decimal. Next, we were told that the interest is compounded annually. N is the number of times per year our interest is being compounded. So if our interest is being compounded annually, that means that it's happening once a year, so N is equal to 1. Lastly, we were told that we want to find how much money we'll have in 4 years. That means that T is equal to 4. Now we'll take all this and plug it into our formula. A equals 5,000 times 1 plus 0.06 divided by 1 raised to the 1 times 4 power. Now you could just plug this into your calculator as is. Personally, I'd do a little bit of cleanup so that the plug-in was easier. Inside our parentheses, we have 0.06 divided by 1. So that's just going to be 0.06. And then adding 1 to that, I'm going to get 1.06. So 5,000 times 1.06. And then I'd also multiply those numbers together in the exponent. 4 is going to be a lot easier to type in. So typing into our calculator, 5,000 times 1.06 raised to the 4th, rounding our answer to the nearest cent, we'll have $6,312.38 in our account.